Good day, Grandpa 1940 speaking. Thank you for coming back and viewing my little site. I would like to talk to you today about South Africa, about safety, about management, and the lunatic promises they make. Now, I have personal knowledge of South Africa in the gold mining industry. I worked on the gold mines in Carltonville for nearly 2 years. So I know a little bit about what is written and said in the papers. Now, the South African mining industry claimed in 2018 that they were doing their best to reduce the number of deaths on South African gold mines. But the trouble is, of course, that there's a hell of a difference between promises and outcomes. Now, when I was on the gold mine in Carltonville, on the surface, next to the main offices, there was a training centre, and it was fully equipped with DVDs and videos of all these terrible accidents, and the theme always was, you've got to be certain, you've got to be sure, and if you're not sure, then you make a noise about it and stop things from happening, which, in theory, is fine. But in practice, it's a case of, it'll be all right, everything's fine, don't disturb the ore getting through the gold mine passes, the underground haulage, and up to the cage and into the works, because that's where you see the gold coming out. And the gold is more important than, as far as this engineer is concerned, life itself. I would like to tell you about a story, tell you a little story about the way things are actually really looked at upon South African gold mines. Now, because it is a very dangerous industry, with problems not only underground but also on the surface, a big party is held if you work more than 1 million man hours fatality free. There's lots of accidents allowed for, but if nobody dies, then after 1 million man hours are worked, you get a party, a big party. The management comes down, all the mine workers celebrate, and it's a real big piss up. Now, the gold mine I was on, 3-4 days before the millionth man hour was registered by the timekeeping staff, one of the black mine workers was scheduled to, they were assisting a fitter, a mechanical fitter, on part of the complex which involves the air conditioning and pumping facility, which is huge, on the 88th level, which is 8,000 feet below the surface. And what happened was the cover was supposed to be taken off this very large compressor, it's an electric motor coupled to a compressor, and the size of the coupling is somewhere around about 2 foot in diameter, which gives you some idea of how big the electric motor was. So the black mine worker took the cover off, and that was all he was supposed to do. But of course, you can't allow for human frailty. He thought he would be doing the right thing by stretching over and getting rid of, it is thought, a piece of debris which was near the clutch itself, the coupling itself. So he leant over, and unfortunately, the mine worker had the black mine worker had not told his white supervisor that he was ready to go very, very close to the clutch, the coupling and the clutch, and the electricity supply had not been turned off. So one compressor failed, and because this was the standby compressor, it was automatically engaged. The motor started up. The black mine worker was drawn in to the coupling by his clothing, and he was wrapped around the coupling and thrown right away. He was really, really badly injured, and nobody likes accidents. It's a saddening thing. But he was brought to the surface, and the doctors examined him, and then the senior doctor called the mine management and said he's not going to make it. And the mine management then arranged for this mine worker to be placed on life support. And he was kept on high-tech life support with all the systems held in sort of, shall we say, suspended animation. And he was held and kept on life support until the 1,000,000 man-hours was carried through and signalled. And immediately after the big party and piss-up was over, that's when they turned the system off, and that poor black man died. Now, I'll leave it up to yourselves to determine whether they were morally right or morally bankrupt, but that was what happened, and that is the attitude of mine management. Unfortunately, most mine workers, and in those days, which is of course a long time ago now, the general attitude towards safety on both mines and elsewhere. Things might have changed now for the different now, but I doubt it very much. Thank you for your time, and thank you for watching my video.